A vision fast coming to reality.
This very modern, attractive-looking secondary school was opened in 1961.
Singapore must be one of the few places in the world where a statutory board satisfactorily completed everything it set out to do in its first 5-year plan.
Good evening. From tomorrow, Radio and Television Singapore will become the Singapore Broadcasting Corporation.
The Japanese Prime Minister, Mr. Ohira, has said
9 p.m. Time by Raymond Whale.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Time by Raymond Whale, 9 p.m. Time by Raymond Whale, 9 p.m. Time by Raymond Whale, 9 p.m.
Time by Raymond Whale, 9 p.m.
Nine p.m.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. In the news tonight, we talk to Environment Minister Dr. Ahmad Mata on his decision to leave the cabinet.
Time by Raymond Vale, 7 p.m.
A West Bank massacre leaves 45 Arabs dead and Middle East peace prospects in jeopardy. Malaysia bars British companies from government contracts and revives a Buy British Last policy.
Good evening. Making headlines, a row between Malaysia and Britain, with Kuala Lumpur slapping.
And to keep you updated on the latest news, good evening.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. Welcome to News 5 Today. Leading this bulletin.
The first batch of executive condos to be marketed later this year. Why there's a need to raise electricity tariffs. And a major phone scam is exposed.
Seven p.m.
Rally to mark Labor Day with the theme The Family Unit. Voting in Britain gets underway. And the option of breast reconstruction for breast cancer patients.
A new foreign exchange system could be in the making soon. Sacked Malaysian Deputy Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim loses his final appeal for bail. A new hybrid of orchid here gets its name from a bank.
What Singapore needs to survive without the senior minister. Private condos by NTUC Choice Homes. The route for Nordic countries to enter Asian markets.
Glad to have you with us on this Saturday evening. Making headlines, Asian and European finance ministers agree to work on creating a system to stabilize foreign exchange. A trial for Indonesian troops accused of killing civilians opens in Banda Aceh. And at home, schools are urged to relook into their physical fitness programs in continuing efforts to bring down the number of overweight children.
Hello, you're watching News 5 Tonight. The headlines this Wednesday: major changes in the way Mandarin is to be taught in schools. This to cater to the needs of more students from English-speaking homes, Singaporeans abroad, and the rapid growth of China as a world power. The Economic Development Board targets $9 billion worth of investment in manufacturing and services this year, a move expected to create some 20,000 jobs for Singapore. And U.S. President Bill Clinton delivers his State of the Union address, even as his White House lawyers open their defense of him in the Senate trial.
9:30 p.m.
Hello and a warm welcome to you joining me on News 5 Tonight. We begin in Singapore, where Education Minister Teo Chee Hean says his ministry is studying if primary schools should go single session.
Good evening. It's a brand new week and you're watching the all-new News 5 Tonight. Making headlines this Monday, the Health Ministry says at least 19 children have been admitted to hospital for suspected hand, foot and mouth disease. The CNB finds close to 5,000 Yaba tablets in a Thai woman's platform shoes in the year's largest Yaba seizure. And Indonesia's Vice President announces a 10-point program to speed up economic recovery.
9:30 p.m.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Tonight. Here are the headlines. Tensions are high in the Middle East as Israel issues the Palestinians with an ultimatum. Indonesia appeals to Singapore businesses to help restore the country's battered economy. And a cyclist is back on the road again after his peace mission went slightly off track.
Starb, 9:30 p.m.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Tonight. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong heralds in the new year with reason to look forward with confidence. The Education Ministry calls on parents and community to make Singapore's education system among the world's best. And the Philippines braces itself for more bomb attacks after a deadly wave of explosions which began yesterday.
The Philippines moves against opposition politicians after 3 people die in clashes.
The blood of innocent victims is in their hands.
Mayday mayhem as anti-globalization protesters stage showdown from Europe and Australia. In Singapore, IDD phone card users may pay more for their calls from June.
Expect probably is the rates to go up substantially, and I would also expect the choices available to the consumers to be reduced.
On News 5 Tonight, lost at sea for more than 20 hours.
Quite a number of steamboats pass by. I tried to wave to them. They're not there too close to me.
But diver Latif Mohammed didn't give up hope. He's now back on solid ground.
I've been tracking this story since late Sunday night. I'll have more details in a while on Latif and his latest condition.
One person's found, but now another's gone missing. Lawyer Bennett Blum disappeared while fishing in the waters of Hodsburg Lighthouse. And a massive fire at a London University forces students to abandon their exams and evacuate.
Time by Allianz, 9:30 p.m.
On News 5 Tonight, 3 kidnappers escaped the gallows but get life in prison in the case involving prominent businessman Tay Teng Ju. 2.5 years behind bars for the single mother who threw her daughter down a rubbish chute. And emotions run high in Hong Kong, where thousands of Chinese migrants have overstayed their welcome.
Time, 9:30 p.m.
A stark reminder that the war on terror is far from over. Al-Qaeda warns the U.S. of more attacks. This is News 5 Tonight. Also tonight, a loan scam targets elderly hawkers in Bedok and Queensway. A little heart can go a long way, but will it be enough for the Guinness World Record? And the winners from the 16th International Dance Sport Championships.
This is News 5 Tonight with Suzanne Ho.
Tonight, a tourism turnaround. Arrivals surge for the first time since SARS.
I'm Kami D'Souza at RSS courageous trial with one of the Navy officers accused of negligence. Took the witness stand today to give her version of what happened.
What's the beef in the US? Meat from a BSE-stricken cow distributed to dinner tables. Revealed what your favorite stars didn't want for Christmas but got anyway. And in sport, Henry has some New Year cheer for Man U.
This is News 5 Tonight.
Tonight, a collision off Sentosa. 4,000 cars in a watery grave after a midnight collision out at sea between the tanker and a car carrier. Join me, Bridget C., to find out what happened. Several people killed and injured after a roof collapses at the Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. A controversial anti-Bush documentary steals the show at the Cannes Film Festival. And a made-in-Singapore Bollywood blockbuster as the colour, drama, glitz and glamour of IFA left fans breathless. Good evening and welcome to News 5. I'm Christine Chan.
Time, 9:30 p.m.
This is News 5 Tonight.
Tonight, Singapore bids a final farewell to the people's president, Dr. Wee Kim Wee.
Singapore has lost an outstanding son, and we feel it keenly.
He has practiced what he preached. He has filled the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. He has gone on another journey now.
In other news, British Prime Minister Tony Blair scores an election hat-trick, but with a sharply reduced majority.
Time, 9:30.
Good evening, I'm Suzanne Ho on News 5 Tonight. MMLE calls for continued renewal in SIA's leadership and reiterates the need to guard Singapore's position as an aviation hub. A clarification today by NCAP on where the remaining 90 cents of every donation dollar actually went. Indonesia starts its final pullout of troop reinforcements from Aceh in a crucial step in a peace deal. And making sure your festive SMSs go through over the new year. Also tonight, more money and more flexibility for schools to customize their environment into special places for learning.
Which is the largest and fastest growing global accountancy body? ACCA, 411,000 members and students worldwide. Time by ACCA, 9:30 p.m.
Hello, I'm Nina Marata on News 5 Tonight. A record number of dengue cases in 1 week likely caused by a new strain of the virus. Singapore's biggest kindergarten chain will absorb the GST increase till the end of 2007, a move benefiting 50,000 children. A falling tree at Mount Alfair, Johor, claims the life of a second Singaporean this week. And Jose Mourinho declares he is ready for next season as Blues boss after his team's FA Cup final victory. First tonight, 180 new cases of dengue have been reported in Singapore this week.
With the intuitive HTC Sense on your HTC phone, you will always know what to expect from the weather, wherever you may be. Time by HTC, 9:30 p.m.
Hello and good evening, I'm Gerard Lam on News 5 tonight. PM Lee hopes to see a robust debate when the 12th Parliament session opens.
I hope that we will be able to move forward in a constructive direction.
An assistance package to be set up for residents in the Central District to cope with the rising cost of living. Egypt declares a state of alert after protesters stormed the Israeli embassy in Cairo.
We are taking this threat seriously.
And the U.S. Secretary of State warns that Al-Qaeda is behind a credible threat to Americans in the run-up to the September 11th 10th anniversary. Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong says the government is monitoring the public debates on the institution of the elected presidency, but has not made any conclusions yet.
Time, 9:30 p.m.
Good evening, I'm Chu Wee Lin on News 5 Tonight. Those who cancel their HDB flat bookings will be penalized further.
It definitely makes the applicants think more carefully.
The government explains why it's extending the employment period for unskilled foreign workers.
We have already contributed a lot to the Hong Kong family, economy and society.
But Hong Kong's High Court overturns a ruling giving foreign maids the right to apply for permanent residency. And Apple offers customers in Australia a refund for the new iPad. The Housing and Development Board has tweaked its rules to improve the chances of serious home buyers.
I'm Otelli Edwards. Tonight on News 5.
You see very clearly the entire aircraft body.
Singapore's Navy detects the main body of the crashed AirAsia plane. It raises hopes that more bodies will be found. New attractions will be developed at Mandai. They will add to existing attractions to create a leading nature destination in Asia.
We have an area that is rich with potential, unique, deeply treasured by Singaporeans.
And there will be more COEs for the next 3 months, but dealers say premiums are expected to go down only marginally.
Good evening, I'm Jill Newbrunner. Tonight on News 5. A U.S. appeals court rejects the Trump administration's appeal to reinstate the controversial travel ban following a suspension on Friday.
Knowledge on the facts of this case cannot be matched.
The Law and Home Affairs Minister weighs in on the legal team that will present Singapore's case in the Pedra Branca issue. Improving its outreach to more Singaporeans, that's one of the key priorities of Skills Future Singapore for this year. We begin in the US, where the Trump administration is facing a setback.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Chia. Here are our top stories.
Prime Minister Lee Hsien-loong says Singapore's productivity could do a little better this year after achieving 1% growth in 2016. Minister Chan Chun-sing calls for Singapore to carefully navigate new forces as the global geopolitical landscape shifts. AVA gives eggs here the all-clear amid a rising tainted egg scandal in Europe. And also on News 5 tonight, Singapore's first retirement community hands out keys to its first batch of residents. And we'll check it out later. But first, the Tiger Sky Tower ride in Sentosa has reportedly malfunctioned, leaving people trapped inside for over an hour.
Good evening, I'm Angela Lim. Happy New Year. Here are the top stories on News 5. Finance Minister Heng Swee Keat will deliver the budget statement for 2018 on 19th February.
So coincident and unexpected.
The first 3 babies born here this year all arrived at the stroke of midnight. And the Islamic Religious Council of Singapore, or MUIS, condemns a second Islamic State video featuring Singaporean Megat Shadan. And coming up later in the program, from London to Yokohama and even the famous ball drop in New York, we bring you the highlights of New Year celebrations from around the world. Singapore's budget statement for 2018 will be delivered by Finance Minister Heng Swee Keat on 19th February in Parliament. This was announced by the Finance Ministry today.
Hello there, good evening. I'm Otelli Edwards. Here are your top stories on News 5. Singapore slips into a recession in Q2 after the coronavirus hit economy shrinks by a record 41.2% on quarter. The Trade and Industry Minister says recovery will be slow and uneven. Singapore and Malaysia to resume cross-border travel next month for long-term pass holders and essential travellers. A case of mislabeling. Tan Tock Seng Hospital apologizes for a wrong COVID-19 diagnosis involving a secondary school student. And it's official. Progress Singapore parties Leong Man Wai and Hazel Phua will take the 2 NCMP seats. Singapore is in recession. The economy has shrunk 12.6% on year in the second quarter, driven by the COVID-19 circuit breaker measures.